retinol video, and I thought it was a good idea to do that today because I'm not actually in the mood for wearing makeup. I'm kind of giving my skin a break. I was doing Halloween videos over the week, and latex and me aren't best friends. It does irritate me a little bit. I'm not like totally allergic to it or anything by any means, but particularly like I'm not very careful at taking it off, and like you can see how my skin looks like plastic. It's so shiny today after taking off the latex. It was like the most uber exfoliation experience I'd say I've had in the last year. Like your skin feels amazing after it, but it's not great. Like it pulls off the top layers of your skin. But anyhow, so retinol is one of my favourite ingredients, and I've had loads of people asking about it. Now I've already done the video on acids, so AHAs, BHAs, chemical exfoliants, and I've also done one on SPF. So I'll link to those below, and there will be a little playlist. One thing I want to say about when you're using retinol, whether it be over the counter or prescription Retin-A, is that you need to use SPF with it. It does make you sun sensitive, but it also breaks down, you know, it's broken down, its actual formula or its whatever is broken down by UV rays as well, so it becomes less potent. So you do need to use sunblock with retinol for daytime, obviously. For nighttime, not bothered. Okay. So you have retinol, which is the basic kind of name for anything derived from vitamin A. Vitamin A, we do need it in our bodies. The name retin comes from the fact that vitamin A is needed to develop our human vision in the womb, you know, when we're fetuses, when we're in the womb, our mothers need to have a small amount of vitamin A to help us develop basically our sight and that. Now, I got that out, I don't know why that was so hard. And then you can get the stronger form of it, which is the, you know, the proper Retin-A, like the proper, it's closer to say vitamin A than the retinol. That is prescription only, and I'll talk a bit about why that is prescription only a little bit further on. So basically retinol is a powerful antioxidant, and it's a really good ingredient for anti-aging or acne control, you know, for enlarged pores, any of that kind of stuff. It was actually used originally, like it's related to Accutane. So say the prescription retinol, or you know, Retin-A, that's actually known as tretinoin. And then Accutane, which is also derived from vitamin A, is isotretinoin. Now they're not exactly the same thing, they are different. The Accutane stuff you usually take orally, and then the, you know, the stuff we use for anti-aging is put on topically, so it reacts in our bodies differently. But they are essentially from the same thing. But obviously the prescription stuff is going to be much more effective than the over-the-counter stuff. But don't knock the over-the-counter stuff. It's definitely good for younger skin and for starting out as well. So I don't think it's actually active in its form, like the over-the-counter stuff. I don't think it's actually active until it reacts with your skin. For whatever, I think I remember reading that somewhere before, and then, you know, as it's on the skin, that's when it kind of converts to what the prescription kind of stuff is. But either way, anyhow, it basically is really good for like anti-aging. So when it comes to sunspots and fine lines and, you know, wrinkles and all this kind of stuff, it helps with those because it like kind of it makes our skin produce more skin cells. So it's called a like cell communicating ingredient. So basically, putting this into the most simple terms ever would be to say that it literally tells the good cells in our skin to create more good cells and do it quicker. So that means that our cell turnover is improved and is sped up, which obviously is a good thing because it's getting rid of the, you know, tired older cells and bringing in new cells. And all this actually happens at the lowest level of our skin. So people often think that retinol is like an exfoliant, and it's not really. This all happens, like I said, at the very lower levels, whereas the chemical exfoliants that I was on about in the first video on this series, they work on the top levels. So they're getting rid of the top dead skin cells and stuff like that. Although like the BHAs do work into the pores, the retinol actually works way further down. It's working at the very bottom and pushing the good, you know, it's getting the good stuff from the very bottom, pushing, say, the bad stuff out. That's how that works. But like, it does cause irritation in a lot of people, and because this irritation can cause flaking and peeling, and that's what people mistake for the exfoliation. That's not exfoliating, that's actually irritation. And you'll either get over it or you won't. Now, for the over-the-counter stuff, it's usually pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? It's pretty tame enough. It's not going to be ridiculously irritating, and you'll usually get over it because they're lower intensities, like it's 0.1%, maybe 0.3% is what I use with the Retin-A. But I had a little bit of irritation for the first week and I got over it. Now the stuff that's on prescription, of course, could cause a lot more irritation, and that's probably one of the reasons that it's on prescription. I'm kind of getting a bit muddled up here, but basically the reason I love it so much is it really does smooth out the skin's texture. So after I was using it for a few months, I noticed a big difference in my textures. In my skin's texture. It's really good for acne, like I said, because it helps to clear, because it's getting rid of the cells in the bottom are pushing out like cells from the top. It helps to clear out pores and stuff like that, but it actually more helps to normalize the pores shape, because what happens when we get acne, particularly people who suffer from acne like on the long term, usually it's like because of a combination of things, but the oil isn't flowing through the pore properly, so it's getting blocked in there, and the pore is usually like in a regular shape as well, and that's one of the reasons why it can't flow through properly. So this helps to regulate the pores shape basically and that means that the oil can flow through properly, so there's less chance of it getting clogged and causing acne. And just like I was mentioning there a few minutes ago about it being, I don't know why my hands are going all over the place, but like I was mentioning earlier on about it being really good for anti-aging, it helps to increase collagen production in the skin, which we all know helps to make our skin look firmer and all that kind of stuff. It strengthens the skin's support, and it increases barrier function, and the barrier function in our skin is very, very important because that's what protects our skin. So that protects against the outside influences that can damage our skin. So like I was saying, it being an antioxidant, and that's kind of one of the reasons it helps to protect us against the free radicals that is caused, that kind of cause the damage that comes from pollution and smoking and all the other bad stuff that we do to ourselves, like diet and whatnot. But yeah, it is a really good ingredient, but one thing I need to point out, it needs to be used on a regular basis. Like any of these things really, you won't get the benefits of it if you're just dip and dab into it every now and again. You need to be using retinol or Retin-A on a daily basis, or for a lot of people, if they're very dry or sensitive, it might just be bi-weekly or something like that. Again, if it's a prescription, you'll be checked about this with your doctor and they'll tell you what to do, and if it's over the counter, it's really down to what your skin can how your skin reacts to it. So if your skin is reacting badly to it and it's not kind of getting over it, you might just bring it down to maybe using it once or twice a week, or even mix it in with your moisturizer. You can do that as well. Personally, I use my retinol only at night time. Now you can use it at the daytime. There's a kind of mixed information out there, but basically retinol, the stuff you buy in the chemist, isn't as strong, obviously, like I said, as the prescription stuff, and you can use this during the day, but you still need to use it under SPF, and you do need to use it under SPF, not over. Some people are total advocates for only ever having SPF as the first ingredient in every skincare layer and everything after that, but that's not realistic. You need the sun protection on top of your retinol, because it actually needs to protect the retinol as well, because the sun can break this down. So you can use it during the day only with SPF, and it needs to be high enough at SPF 30, and obviously at night time it doesn't matter. I keep getting mixed up. The prescription stuff is way stronger. So I don't think all of this, I'm not really sure. I don't want to, I'm not an expert. I'm just relaying information that I've kind of studied myself from asking different skincare experts loads of questions and doing my own study. But there's mixed, again, information as to whether the Retin-A is safe for use during the daytime. But again, I think if you're unsure, just use it at night time, but some people do say it's absolutely fine as long as you use the sunblock with it. So again, ask your doctor or dermatologist, an actual expert. And yeah, now another thing as well is you can mix retinol with different products. So it's grand to use it, with any of your serums or your moisturizers and all that kind of stuff, and you can mix it with your chemical exfoliants as well. So apparently the best way to use it is to use, say after you've washed your face and stuff like that, you apply your chemical exfoliant first, then your retinol. So it's kind of the opposite to the retinol and the sunblock. So the retinol goes on second in this case, and then you can put your normal like nighttime treatment or moisturizer and all that kind of stuff on after your retinol. What I tend to do is just apply my normal serum, something like this. I'm not really using a chemical exfoliant at the moment at nighttime, but either way, whatever serum I use, I do that first, and then I'd let that sink into the skin for about an hour and then do my retinol after that. I have a separate under eye cream, but I think as long as you can take it, you can use most retinol products up until here, like on the brow. No, it's not the brow, the cheekbone. So not to put it on the softer areas that can actually seep into the eyes. So you wouldn't want to put it on your eyelids or anything like that, because like I said, it can be quite irritating. Now, like I mentioned earlier on, I just wanted to touch on its relationship with Accutane, because I'm more talking about the prescription stuff here. There is a reason why it's prescription. Okay, so they both derive from the same thing. One is tretinoin, one is isotretinoin, but anyone who's on Accutane will know that it can be quite a strong drug and it has a lot of side effects. Like, you have to do this I Pledge program in America where you have to take like a few pregnancy tests and get it signed off by like 1 million doctors to prove that you're not going to get pregnant while on it, because it causes serious birth defects. Apparently the retinol, I've read online that there was like, there's no conclusive reports, but that there was higher instances of some birth defects with people using the topical retinol, even though it doesn't react in the body the same way, because it's, you know, you're only putting it topically, it can't kind of get into the system quite as much. Either way, it's prescription for a reason. Now, the Accutane and that isotretinoin can be like very dangerous in that it can cause depression, which has, you know, been proven to lead to suicide and stuff like that in the past. So obviously it depends on yourself and possibly your history, I don't know, but obviously it's like prescription for a reason. So I wouldn't go buying any of this stuff off eBay or Amazon. I just don't think it's worth it unless you know what you're getting. But anyhow, one thing I did read that I think is very important to note, even with the over-the-counter retinol, the lower stuff, is that not to take it even when you're breastfeeding. So you do have to be like wary of that. It is a medicine at the end of the day in one way, like it can affect your body. So like, I'm not trying to panic anyone by any means, but just be aware it's not supposed to be taken if you're breastfeeding or pregnant. So that's pretty much it. I'll just show you quickly what I have. I use the retinol by La Roche-Posay, and it's the Redermic Or. This comes in Redermic C as well, which is the exact same packaging, which can be a bit confusing, but Redermic Or is what I use. This has 0.3% retinol in it. A lot of other over-the-counter stuff only has 0.1%, so I'm nearly sure this is the highest percentage of retinol you can get in any over-the-counter products, and I love this stuff. Like I said, I just use it at night time. You don't have to use a moisturiser with it unless you're dry. Just see how your skin takes to it. This is often moisturiser enough for me, but I do use a serum underneath. And then I actually started off by using this because it has less amount of retinol in it. It's the Retinox Wrinkle Correction Night Cream and the Eye Cream as well. Excuse me. Like, I think retinol in like over-the-counter products is becoming much more common nowadays. It was harder to find when I first started getting into it a couple of years ago, but I'd say this is the best of any stuff that I've used so far, the La Roche-Posay stuff. I think it's really good. So these two together would be about €60. I think it's about 60 euro for this and like 24 for this, or roughly like that. You'd use it the same way you would a normal eye cream and a normal night cream. Like, there's nothing like fancy about how to apply it, just apply it as normal. But one thing I would say, only ever go for retinol that is in a kind of packaging like this that is protects it against the sun, because if it is in an open jar or if it's in like a clear plastic packaging, it'll degrade. So you want to make sure it's in something that you know it won't degrade in. I know my next retinol purchase is going to be the Paula's Choice 1% retinol, which is the highest I've come across that isn't prescription. I think it's called 1% clinical retinol or something like that, and I really rate Paula's Choice when it comes to looking for information on skincare, so I have high hopes for this product. So that's like €59 though, so I might get it further down the line. But yeah, definitely look at Paula's Choice, and also her website is very good for information on any of this kind of stuff. But that's it. This is a very long video. I knew I'd be chatting a lot on this though, because there's kind of a lot to say on it. I hope this was interesting for anyone who is interested in it. Does that even make sense? Yeah, it does. But anyhow, I'll chat to you all in my next video. So long, guys.